Hey everyone, it's Mary Ann Pizzatola from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees, and I have two guests with me today I think you're going to love. I have Neil Frumpkin from DC37 Retirees, and I have Sally Robinson, also from DC37 Retirees. And I'm going to introduce you first to Neil, and then Neil will tell us a little bit about himself. Will talk to us about Sally. We're going to meet Sally and hear some interesting stories about who she is and what she did for the city of New York. So welcome.
Okay, we got it.
So hi. So as Mary Ann said, my name's Neil Frumpkin, and I've been a member of the board of the Retirees Association of Council 37 for about 19 years or so. And I've been retired for 20 years. And I worked for over almost 35 years for the city of New York in HRA and ACS. Those are the two agencies I work for. And I was a rank and file member of Local 371. I was never an officer of that local, but I was an active delegate. And I was, I guess what you call on the outs. I was I didn't support necessarily the positions of the leadership of my local all the time. And I would, when they were wrong, I would say so.
Good.
And I was on some negotiating teams later in my career, and always active and always a fighter on my location where I worked. And I continued that kind of fighting spirit when I joined the Retirees Association, and have tried to bring that to the executive board of that group. I would say that when I heard about this proposed change to the Medicare Advantage plan, I didn't like it, and I started telling people about what was going on. And soon after the word got out, I was invited to speak to a group of EMTs, a Zoom meeting that was chaired by this young lady, Mary Ann Pizzatola. And I told her what I knew, and she did not like it. And she embarked on her new career, which I think is spending all of her time fighting against the imposition of a Medicare disadvantage plan on the retirees of the city of New York. She's doing a wonderful job of it.
Thank you.
From my point of view, I've tried to get the Retirees Association to step up to the plate, to do things under our name, and also to be supportive of the efforts of Mary Ann and the organization she chairs. One of the things that we've done is tried to take part in the demonstrations that have been called by other organizations as well. And on last Wednesday rather, I took part in the demonstration in front of City Hall. And along with myself and numerous members of our executive board and retirees from DC 37, one of those people was this young lady that's on the screen also, that I've had the pleasure of working with on our executive board for many years now, Sally Robinson. So I'm going to stop because I think this is mainly Sally's story that I think she should tell.
Welcome, Sally.
Hi. Hi, Mary Ann. Hi, Neil.
Hi,
Hi, Sally.
So tell us about yourself, Sally. Where did you work?
Well, I was a school crossing guard for 35 years. I worked on the corner of Nostrand. Well, when I first started out, I worked it on President Street and Franklin. And then after that, we got laid off in 1975, when Bing was the president with the mayor. And then when Koch started running, and then he hired us back in 1978. So that's how it was. But then that's when we joined the union. Charlie Hughes was the president of Local 372. So he the one brought the school crossing guard on. And he was fighting for us, regardless of what went down with him, he was fighting for us. So that's how we got pension through Charlie Hughes for the part-time worker, because we were the only peoples that the part-time worker have pension. A lot of other people do not have this pension. Thank God for that. And now my pension, like I said, I was a school crossing guard for 35 years. I went to Nostrand and Maple, and my friend Neil, I crossed his kids. But there was a funny thing about it. When I retired, and Stu was the president, and he had told me, he said, when you retire, you got to come on the board. So when I retired, I got on the board, and I met Neil. Then when Neil was saying, and then he remember, and I remember his kids. And that's how we know. And I tell you, he's a very fighter, and he talks to me when I don't know things. I call him and I said, Neil, and I call him early in the morning. He said, no, I'm up. And I talk to him, and he knows when I work with membership on the retired. When people have questions I can't answer, I send them to Neil, and Neil talks to them. So, well, they call me, my nickname is Sexy Sallie, so that's what they call me. So I enjoyed working with Neil and a lot of the other people's on the board. But then when they started with this benefit, cutting our benefit, I would ask Neil, and Neil would tell me certain things. And I can understand, like, I'm not ashamed to say my pension is only $884. But when we got that little raise, it finally went up to 900. But 900 is not a lot of money. And my Social Security is only $802. So they said we get a raise. And when we got the other raise, that's how that went up, because my Social Security was like $870 some. And when we got the other raise, it finally went up to 802. So I don't know how much this raise is going to bring it up to. So whatever. And I live at my granddaughter's house, and thank God I live here, because number one, if I lived somewhere else, I would have to use both checks to pay rent. And I don't live here free. I help out and I do my part here to help her out. And when they were saying cutting our benefit, it would mess me up, because when I go to the doctor, my co-payment is $30. I was just to the doctor Friday for bone density. That was $30. Then Tuesday, Monday I have therapy, which that's just $5, not too bad. Then I go to my PC doctor Wednesday. Then Thursday I have to go back to the doctor because I had breast surgery. My cancer came back. 3-time cancer fight. It came back after 25 years. So they had to remove the breast. So when I go there, that's another $30. Then turn around, I have another appointment in the following week. So each time I go, at least $30, that's very expensive. And if they talking about cutting my benefit, and what it is, that means that I would have to postpone my appointment with the doctor and go to one doctor 1 month and go to another doctor the next month. I couldn't afford to go to these doctors and paying $30 3 or 4 times out of the month. And I'm like Neil, a lot of things that they're doing at DC37 is not right, because we went out there and worked it and did our hard work. I used to work the phone bank. I used to do all these different things. I was on the board with Local 372. I was a trustee, and I was just about with all the committees, and things went down. And I worked the phone bank, calling the people to go vote. Just like now, I'm telling the people to go out there and vote. And I don't think it's right that they messing with our benefits, because what they're doing to us, the people that are coming behind are going to be less on them. So we try to let these people know that working now, if I always said that when they start messing with the working people, I knew they was coming after us. So it's not fair. It's not really fair. And I hope
that's one of the things that
could
they
change
give up.
it.
Yeah, I hope. That's one of the things I think Neil and I have always expressed our frustration about, is we don't understand why the unions are just giving up. There's no reasons to give up or to change or reduce your benefits or to put obstacles in place of access to healthcare for the only purpose of decreasing your utilization of it. They're trying to impair you from using your healthcare so that they save money. We're still in the middle of this pandemic. We're still experiencing, healthcare issues. Why would they be negotiating away these changes? I think it's one of the most frustrating things that we have to keep dealing with at this point. I'm hoping that we're successful, both our organization and the DC37 Retirees Association, with all of the newfound support that we've been getting since that rally on Wednesday, that maybe we can make some positive changes in this.
I hope so, because it's like I showed you the paper. My girlfriend that we share, she was in the garment district. And soon after she retired, they canceled they pension. So her pension is only $123 a month. And just like she was saying, they didn't have the backup like we had with DC37. So like it's saying, a lot of the other people that I know, they was out there. And just like I heard the firemen talking, they was out there 30 years out there fighting that fire, going into the fire and stuff like this here. Now you're taking our livelihood. We can't live like that and worry. So I tried not to worry, because I know something's gonna come good. Because while you're working with that and Neil and other people, we're gonna come through this with flying colors, right? Right?
I certainly hope so. I just
Okay.
want to also mention, I'm a trustee in DC 37's Health and Security. And one of the big issues that goes along with this whole cutback in the health benefits is the exceptional costs that some of our members face when they get into the so-called donut hole if they're in a Plan D coverage. That's for Medicare D, as in David. Some of them are paying hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Oop, we just lost you, Neil. Your sound went off.
So what I was saying, some of our members, when they hit the donut hole, go into the pharmacy and find that they are faced with hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in costs for their medications. And some of them just walk out without the medications because they can't afford that kind of money. And what Sally was saying in terms of somebody having to decide whether they're going to go to all their medical appointments under these new programs, Sally's in the HIP VIP plan. If someone's in the GHI supplemental to Medicare, they also are paying much more now than they were last year. And people are having to decide, are they going to go to all their medical appointments? Are they going to buy all their prescription medications? Do they have enough money to do this? Or do they have to pay their rent and pay their other necessities of life? And this is a shame. There is something wrong and there's something broken in a system where people can't afford the necessities of life. And that's part of our fight today, is to make sure that we live a retirement that is not from hand to mouth and choosing what necessities we'll be able to afford. That's just not right.
That's right, because I have to pay a lot for my prescription. I have prescription because, I have to take special medicine for cancer. I'm a diabetic and I have pressure. So medicine costs me. So I have to, and then I have problem with my back and I take special medicine for that. So it would cut down on a lot. So like a lot of people, you have to go and get a half prescription. So I hope that we can win this fight, that we don't have to do. We worked all these years and we want to live comfortable, but we can't live comfortable when we can't worry about, we got to do this and cut down. And they can't afford to go to the store and buy what we want. Because if you want a steak, you say, well, I can't afford a steak, so I'm gonna have to get something cheaper and eat potatoes and onions. That's what we have to do. So I hope that we can win this fight.
And after working 35 years for the city of New York, you shouldn't have to just eat potatoes and onions, my dear.
No, that's right. I can have some meat with that.
Good.
So I think one of the things that Sally being on this Zoom today and bringing her message out, she speaks from not just for herself, but for many, many low-income retirees of DC 37, disproportionately women and women of color, Black and Latin, who are had worked in some of the lower paid jobs for the city of New York and consequently have lower pensions and Social Security, and now are faced with these rising costs. And it's a shame, as Marianne had said earlier, why are the union leaders agreeing to this today when they know damn well that the city has the money to pay for this? You know, at the last delegate assembly, Henry Garrido, in talking about the upcoming contract negotiations, said that the city always starts off negotiations by talking about the terrible budgetary constraints that they have. And they're going to be looking at budget deficits in years to come. And lo and behold, when those years to come arrive, the budget deficit is gone and they have surpluses. So if he knows that when it comes to collective bargaining for actives, he should also know it when it comes to healthcare for retirees. And Marianne, looks like we have lost
We lost
Sally.
Sally. Let's see it. Let's give another second, see if she pops back in, or if you text her, she might come back in.
I'm going to mute myself and try and give her a call.
And that is really profound to oh, here she is. Hold on, you just got to unmute yourself, my dear.
Okay.
You taught her well how to do Zooms, Neil. I'm proud.
Sally, you just need to unmute. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah,
Didn't have
I'm
to say that.
unmuted.
Okay.
I got lost for a little bit.
That's okay. We found you.
Okay.
So we were just finishing up saying that that it's really important that DC37 executive director remembers who his retirees and who his employees are, and that it's really important that the other unions who see this going on, and even if Henry has lost his compass in being able to protect those he's supposed to be protecting, the other unions should know who we are and who these decisions will affect and push back, right?
Absolutely. It was very nice to see a president of one of the DC 37 locals speaking at the rally on Wednesday. There were also rank and filers from other active unions that were there as well. It was very nice to see that also. We need to see more, because if the city is and the union are successful in changing Administrative Code 12-126, it may be sooner than later that the health benefits of active union employees are under the gun as well, because that basis of setting a floor upon which medical coverage that is free for actives and retirees has been set for many decades may not last forever. And 126 should not be changed.
No, but
that's Sally again.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll try to get her to, we'll close up as soon as she comes back, and then you and I can finish talking if we need. But I think it's important to know that, to let everyone know that we do have low income retirees. And, you know, here's a lady who dedicated her life, 35 years working for the city of New York, who has a low pension, who has to live with her daughter, her granddaughter, and she's still contributing to the household and doing what she can do. And yet this is someone that if the MLC is successful at making these changes, would be absolutely disparately impacted. And, you know, if Mr. Garrido and Mr. Nispoli and Mr. Mulgrew don't know what those words mean, then shame on them. Unfortunately, they need to learn what disparate impact is, and they need to know who their retirees are. So, Sally, are you with us? If you could hear me, my dear, you need to unmute your microphone.
And you have to enable your video. So let me just say one more thing about Sally. because Sally is so very well known, not just in DC 37, where she said that she was always a go-to person in phone banking for political action and all kinds of what. She was with the VIP program, organizing the unorganized members of DC 37. She's well known in AFSCME as a whole. She's been well known at AFSCME conventions and bringing her brand of fight back and willingness to put herself out to AFSCME members around the country. And if you say Sexy Sallie, they know exactly who you're talking about.
I love that, Sally.
Okay,
Well, is there
So-
anything you'd like to add?
no, I'm just, thank you for taking the time out to listen to what I had to say. And that was good. And Neil, thank you for helping me get on. I keep getting off and on, but that's
But
all
you're
right.
doing it. You're doing it.
Yep, I'm doing it. I'm learning it. I'm learning it.
So if
And
I were to
thank you.
say, go ahead.
Huh?
If I were to say to you in your closing message, if you had one opportunity to tell Mr. Garrido and Mr. Mulgrew and Mr. Nespoli one message, what would your message be?
Well, I call Henry my son.
Mhm.
I'll go to him and tell him, you cannot do this to
You cannot do this to us. We're losing Sally again.
I guess the internet connection is not that strong where she's sitting in the
No.
house.
See if you can get her on the phone. If she does.
If she's on with her phone, that I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Let me see if she picks up. I'll put it on speaker and maybe
Yeah.
she can just speak to us.
Yes, Leah.
So we lost you, you froze, and then we lost your audio and whatnot. Do you want to say your last statement again? And we'll just do it on audio.
No, I said I would go to him and talk to him myself and tell him, my son, you can't do this to us. We've been good to you, so you can't do this to us. I would tell him this in person. Okay?
Great,
Okay.
Sally. Thank you.
We love you,
needs-
Sally.
Okay, thank you, Marianne. I'm sorry I got lost.
That's okay. We love you.
I love you too, darling. Take care.
All
Thank
right.
you, Sally.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, love y'all. Bye-bye. And go rest, Marianne.
I will, honey.
Okay.
Don't you love her? Oh my gosh.
She's back.
Wait, now your
You're
sound is
muted.
off.
You're muted, Sally.
Marianne, go get you some rest.
I will.
Okay, it's time to go get rest now, because I'm going to get some rest, okay?
Okay, we love you, Sally.
Love you too. Take care, Neil. I'll be talking to you.
We
All
we
right,
need
honey.
our rest. It's a long fight. We're in it for the long haul.
That's it.
Okay, darling. Take care now.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye, Sally. Thanks for coming
Bye-bye.
on.
And thank you, Neil, for helping me.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was good.
You're still on, Sally. Okay.
Oh my God, I love her. What is not to love? Holy cow. Henry, if you're listening to this message.
There's more Sallys out there. That's the message he's got to hear.
He
She
does.
spoke for many, 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 many.
She was telling me about it, a lady that she worked with that had like $123 pension and a larger Social Security check, but she's still making under $1,500 a month.
It's
Combined.
incredible. It's
It's not a
incredible.
way to live, you know, especially not in New York City. So I'm hoping this message gets out. These people would be disparately impacted if they were to absorb more costs, more medical costs, more drug costs, more co-pays, more deductibles. This isn't what we signed up for, and you guys know this. So that I'm hoping that they're listening and that they protect the people that need protecting. This is our vulnerable population, and they need to be protected. And you know, the shame of this is DC37 did protect the retirees in 1977 when Mayor Beam went to go take away our Medicare B reimbursement. It was DC37 that stepped up and paid several $1,000,000 to make sure, I think it was $23 million he paid to the city to protect the retirees so that Mayor Beam would not take away Medicare B. And I think at this point, this is going to need to be the unions collectively that will have to step up to do something. You know, hopefully that we can all come to some resolution. We have offered several times, and I know your group would join us as well, to sit around a table and to talk about ideas. And clearly, I think with the experience of the retirees from all the decades that we have of labor relations and negotiating, that we could probably help them out of this, but they have to welcome the assistance because clearly they're not coming up with the right ideas.
Well said.
All right, my dear, fight onward and upward.
Absolutely. The struggle continues.
The struggle continues. I know. I said this morning. I said. They said we saw that article in the Daily News after the rally. It looks really good. Is it over? And I said, no, it's not over. I said it's not over till the fat lady sings, and I haven't sung yet, so we're still fighting.
Oh, what she said.
So anyway, I love you. Thank you for introducing me to her. She is a firebrand. I love her.
And like I say, listen, the city has to understand there are many, many more like Sally who will fight back. That's the sign I was carrying. If you cut our health benefits, if you try to cut our health benefits, we will fight back. And she is the inspiration. She will fight back. I've seen her walking with a cane down Broadway, but if you need to have somebody out, she's going to be out there.
She was there with us at that rally walking on Broadway.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
God bless her. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for introducing her to us. I absolutely love it.